What's up, Bear Country? My name is Ian Miller, and this is DBSN Overtime. Welcome to the first episode of Season 2 of DBSN Overtime, where we bring you all the latest news in non-Berlin sports. First up this week, let's head over to Ishan with the latest in NFL news.
Last week was quite exhilarating pro football. We started on Thursday as the Seattle Seahawks defeated the Arizona Cardinals 23-20 off a 53-yarder game-winning field goal by Jason Myers. Seattle is now 3-1. Now, on to the Sunday games. In Dublin, Ireland in the morning, the Steelers defeated the Carson Wentz-led Vikings 24-21. The Steelers now lead the AFC North with a 3-1 record. In the Battle of Unbeatens in the afternoon, the Eagles held off the Bucs to advance to 4-0 with a 31-25 win. The Colts were handed their first loss of the year later in the day by the Rams as Tutu Atwell scored a go-ahead 88-yard touchdown with less than 2 minutes left to give the Rams a 27-20 win. They're now 3-1. The Jaguars, fueled by their outstanding defense and special teams, knocked off the undefeated 49ers 26-21 with an 89-yard punt return touchdown by Parker Washington. The now 3-1 Jags have forced 13 turnovers, a league high. On Sunday night, the Packers and Cowboys tied in a thriller, 40-40. Now let's move on to this week's slate. On Thursday, the Rams and the 49ers will play in a crucial NFC West matchup. Brock Purdy, Juwan Jennings, and Ricky Pearsall are ruled out. On Sunday, the 2-2 Broncos will give it their best shot against the red-hot Eagles. Bo Nix, the quarterback for the Broncos, will have to have a big day. The 3-1 Buccaneers and Seahawks will play in Seattle as former teammates Sam Darnold and Baker Mayfield will duel to advance to 4-1. The 2-2 Commanders will get Jaden Daniels back in time to face the AFC West leaders LA Chargers, who are coming off an embarrassing loss to the New York Giants. On Monday, the defending AFC champions will go to Jacksonville, where they will face a resurgent Jacksonville team anchored by their defense. Expect the Chiefs, led by Patrick Mahomes, to test the Jacksonville defense. The Jaguars, if they want to win, they'll have to have their receivers step up as they've been struggling in the past. Now, that's it for the NFL recap. Let's send it back to Ian.
Thanks, Ishan. Next up, let's head over to Dylan with the latest in MLB news.
The MLB playoff picture is set. All games will start Tuesday, September 30th, 2025. All 12 teams have had previous history in the postseason, and the last World Series matchup was between the Los Angeles Dodgers and the New York Yankees, where the Dodgers won the series 4-1. Our first game is the Detroit Tigers at the Cleveland Guardians. Game 1 will start at 1 p.m. The Guardians and the Tigers previously played in a series where the Guardians came out on top, where they clinched the postseason and the division over the Tigers. The Tigers had a 15.5 game collapse dating all the way back to July. Both of these teams are headlined by great pitching staffs. The Tigers have reigning Cy Young winner Tarek Skubal, and the Guardians have a very deep rotation. These two teams faced off in last year's ALDS, where Cleveland ended up with the upset victory following Lane Thomas's grand slam off of Skubal. The winner of this series will go ahead and face the Seattle Mariners, a team who is headlined by MVP frontrunner Cal Raleigh and pitching staff of Brian Wu, Logan Gilbert, and George Kirby. Our next game is the San Diego Padres at the Chicago Cubs. The first game will start at 3 p.m. These two teams have not played against each other since April, where the teams look much different now. Xander Bogaerts is out for the season. Pico Armstrong has looked not so great this second half. Both of these teams are fired up heading into this postseason. These teams have not played in a postseason against each other since 1984, where the Padres took the series off of a walk-off home run from Steve Garvey. The Padres are one of the few teams in this postseason to never have won a World Series. The Cubs' playoff hopes are back. They have not won a World Series since 2016, which is one of the most iconic Game 7s in MLB history. The winner of this series will face the number 1 overall seed, the Milwaukee Brewers, who have looked unstoppable this season, going on multiple double-digit win streaks. The Brewers are certainly the team to beat this postseason. Our third game is the Yankees at the Red Sox. One of the best rivalries in the sport is being translated to the playoffs, where Game 1 will begin at 6 p.m. The Red Sox won the regular season rivalry this season, where they were dominant at Yankee Stadium, where this series will take place. The Yankees are not as good as they have wanted to. Injuries, bullpen depth are their biggest issues, but when everyone plays healthy, they could be the team to beat. The Red Sox have shown signs of good and bad, but overall, their pitching staff is very good. With the star pitcher of Garrett Crochet, they should be in line to claim a Game 1 victory. There have been some previous postseason battles between these two teams. Whether it's the 3-0 comeback, ALDS and ALCS matchups, these series always deliver. The previous meeting in the postseason came in 2021, where the Red Sox came out with a 6-2 victory in the AL wildcard. The winner of the series will be faced with another American League East opponent, the Toronto Blue Jays, who have looked great from a hitting standpoint this season. They are the team to beat in the American League. The fourth and final game is the Cincinnati Reds at the Los Angeles Dodgers. This game will begin at 9 p.m. These two teams have had some history. They used to be former division rivals, and now they're National League rivals. The Dodgers and the Reds always deliver a stellar fan favorite series. The Reds are known for the power of friendship they possess. They don't have any MVPs, no Cy Young players, no awards really anywhere, besides young star Elly De La Cruz, who has brought this team this far. They are a team who has nothing to lose. The Dodgers, on the other hand, are the feared team in the National League. They possess a 1-2-3 punch of Shohei Ohtani, Mookie Betts, and Freddie Freeman. And if that wasn't enough, they have the best starting rotation in all of baseball. This David vs. Goliath matchup will certainly keep people waiting late in the night. The Dodgers won the season series 5-1 against the Reds and will look to continue with Blake Snell taking the mound in Game 1. Snell, in 2024, no-hit the Reds as a member of the San Francisco Giants. The first and last time these two teams faced off was in the 1995 NLDS, where the Reds swept the Dodgers. The winner of this series will go on to face the feared Red October by the Philadelphia Phillies, who have a lot to prove. If the Phillies don't win it all this year, their championship window is closing, and fast. Our MVP race takes place in the National League between Shohei Ohtani and Kyle Schwarber. There's not really much of a race, though. Ohtani is the clear favorite. He pitches and hits and is the best at both of them. Schwarber leads all of baseball in RBI, but Ohtani leads Schwarber in all other stats. The American League MVP race comes down between Cal Raleigh and Aaron Judge. Cal Raleigh is the first catcher to hit 60 home runs in a season ever. He's the biggest reason for the Mariners to be in the position they hold. He calls the games and mashes home runs. Cal Raleigh is currently the betting favorite to win the American League MVP. On the other side, Aaron Judge leads the MLB in pretty much every stat. Whether it's average, OPS, or on-base percentage and intentional walks, you name it, Aaron Judge owns it. This will be a very tough matchup for the MVP.
Thanks, Dylan. Next up, let's over to Tyson and Jack with the latest in college football.
Welcome to DBSN Overtime. I'm Jack Carter.
And I'm Tyson Mount with your college football segment. Jack, we have a great game that went down in Happy Valley this week.
That's right, Tyson. Number 6 Oregon traveled to number 3 Penn State for a huge Big Ten matchup. The Oregon defense shined and got the decisive interception off of Drew Aller in double overtime. The Ducks beat the Nittany Lions 30-24 and will now enjoy their bye before heading to Bloomington to face a red-hot Indiana Hoosiers team.
Now let's head out to the West to talk about the number 1 team in the nation, the Ohio State Buckeyes, who took on Washington. Ohio State looked a little shaky in the first half as the Huskies led the Buckeyes 3-0 before Jeremiah Smith scored a touchdown with 3:31 remaining in the second quarter. From there, the Buckeyes took down the Huskies 24-6 with yet another great defensive performance.
A great week for Buckeyes fans. Now let's head out to the East Coast to go over a top 10 upset. The Virginia Cavaliers took down fellow ACC opponent Florida State 46-38 in overtime. The game ended with FSU quarterback Tommy Castellanos throwing a costly interception in the end zone. The Seminoles have dropped to number 18 in the new AP poll, while Virginia jumps into top 25, ranked 24.
This week's game of the week is number 16 ranked Vanderbilt Commodores as they head down to Tuscaloosa to take on the 10th ranked Alabama Crimson Tide. Alabama has bounced back since their Week 1 loss to Florida State with wins over Wisconsin and most recently number 5 Georgia. Vanderbilt has started 5-0 for the first time since 2008 and is looking to be in the running for the SEC. While Alabama suffered their first Week 1 loss since 2001, the Crimson Tide will continue to work their way back into playoff contention with SEC teams ahead on the schedule. I like Diego Pavia, and I think he will lead the Commodores to yet another win.
Great stuff, Tyson. Another ranked matchup this week as number 3 Miami will head across the state of Florida to play at Florida State. Coming off of a loss, this Florida State team should be motivated to get back on track, and the road doesn't start with a more difficult matchup. Miami has looked like one of the best teams in the nation, led by their transfer quarterback, Carson Beck. Beck has played well with his new team and is looking forward to keeping their undefeated season alive.
Lots of big games this week, as that will wrap up our overtime segment. Thank you for watching that, and now let's send it back to Ian.
Thanks, Tyson and Jack, for that update in college football. Next up, let's head over to John with the latest in the UFC.
UFC 320 is set for October 4th at the T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas, and it's shaping up to be one of the biggest fight nights of the year. In the main event, light heavyweight champ Magomed Ankalaev defends his belt in a rematch against former champ Alex Pereira. These two met at UFC 313, where Ankalaev took the title by unanimous decision. Now Pereira's back hungry for redemption and claiming to reclaim the belt. The co-main event is just as exciting. Bantamweight champion Merab puts his title on the line against Corey Sandhagen. Merab's relentless pace has carried him to the top, but Sandhagen is a dangerous striker chasing for his first UFC belt. The rest of the card is stacked. Yuri faces off against Khalil Roundtree Jr. in a light heavyweight clash that could determine the next title challenger. Plus, Josh Emmett meets Youssef Zalal, and fan favorites like Macy Chias and Veronica Hardy are in action. Originally scheduled for Mexico, the event was located to Las Vegas due to arena delays. However, the stakes remain the same. 2 championship fights, a loaded card, and major title implications across multiple divisions. UFC 320, Ankalaev vs. Pereira 2, takes place on October 4th. This is one fight night you do not want to miss.
Thanks, John, for that update. The Ryder Cup just concluded, and now let's over Alex Dargatz, who has the latest.
Last week, the 45th rendition of the Ryder Cup took place. The Ryder Cup is a match play format tournament that takes place every 2 years between the best European and U.S. golfers. It is the only team-based tournament in golf. This year, the tournament took place on the Americans' home turf at Bethpage Black in Farmingdale, New York. The course is famously known as the People's Country Club, as it's the most popular public course in America. The Europeans jumped out to a quick lead Friday morning. Bryson DeChambeau and Justin Thomas set a positive tone by winning the first hole of the tournament, but John Rahm and Tyrrell Hatton birdied holes 12 and 13 to win the match 5 holes to 1. Europe won the next 3 matches before Xander Schauffele and Patrick Cantlay got the U.S. on the board. The Friday afternoon session wasn't much different. The Fleetwood Rose and Rahm Straka groups both won critical holes on the back 9 to pick up 2 wins. Europe was up 3 points by the end of the first day. Saturday morning had a few thrilling matches, but Europe protected their lead. Rory McIlroy and Tommy Fleetwood fended off a late comeback from Harris English and Colin Morikawa to pick up another win. Robert McIntyre and Victor Hovland followed suit, birdieing hole 14 to stop Russell Henley and Scottie Scheffler from completing a comeback of their own. In the afternoon, the Europeans once again went 3-1 on the session. Things were looking grim for the U.S. as they were down 10 points going into the final day. The U.S. was down but not out heading into the singles matches. Victor Hovland was ruled out with an injury, giving the U.S. a needed half point to fuel the comeback. Cam Young and Justin Rose started the day off with a thriller. The two were tied at 5 holes apiece heading into 18. Young hit an incredible approach shot onto the green, pinning the ball 12 feet from the cup. He then sunk the birdie putt, giving the U.S. a win on the first match of the day. JT won 3 straight holes to lift him over Tommy Fleetwood 5-4. Bryson DeChambeau overcame a 5-hole deficit to tie Matt Fitzpatrick. DeChambeau put a 47-foot putt 4 feet from the hole to secure the par on 18 and complete his comeback. Scheffler finally got his first win of the weekend against rival Rory McIlroy. After 5 matches, Ludwig Aberg finally got the Europeans on the board, defeating Patrick Cantlay 3-1. Schauffele and J.J. Spaun picked up 2 critical wins as well, which made the possibility of an American comeback real. All they needed to do was win out. All eyes were on Shane Lowry versus Russell Henley match on the match. It came all the way down to 18, and all Henley needed to do was tie to keep the Americans alive. Henley hit his drive into a fairway bunker, but hit the approach shot of his life to put it within 9 feet. Unfortunately for Henley, Lowry also had an insane approach shot with backspin, putting him 5 feet from the cup. All Henley needed to do was make the putt, and the Americans would inch closer to winning. But Henley left the putt just a few inches short. Lowry then knocked his putt in to tie the match and ultimately win Europe the Ryder Cup. It was the first time an away team won the Ryder Cup since 2012. The Americans looked strong at the end, but the Europeans were simply just better from start to finish. I will see you in the spring with more golf news.
Thank you for tuning in to the first episode of Season 2 of DBSN Overtime. This has been Ian Miller with DBSN. Be sure to tune back in for Episode 2.